I started watching Perfect Crown this weekend, and I wasn't even planning to like it, but by the end of episode 2, I realized something. K dramas don't just tell a story, they create a feeling, and once you feel it, you can't unfeel it. In this video, we're going to be analyzing the things that they did right, and maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to discover what exactly they did to get us hooked. This drama is not even historical, it's modern, but somehow it feels like every K drama you've watched. This isn't even about the plot. I think it's the K drama essence. I've not been able to pinpoint it, but it feels very Korean, but it's a modern drama, excluding the language and everything. It just reminds you or shows you that thing that draws you to K drama every single time, especially good K dramas. Secondly, the writing. Obviously, the writer of this drama is a professional. I don't need to watch the entire episodes to know. It's so evident that the writer is a professional. The conversations are not shallow, be it a conversation on politics, be it a conversation on business. It wasn't shallow. Even the scenes were not shallow. They were things that were realistic and could happen. I liked the fact that the writer was very intentional about conversations, even though that's much is expected of professional writers, but I was impressed. That was something I noticed, the well readness, if there's anything like that. The writer is obviously well read and did his or her research properly and still was able to integrate this into the drama without making it too nerdy or too shallow. It was just the perfect balance. Thirdly, the character introduction is very strong. It just took two scenes for me to be able to tell what kind of person each of the main leads were. The female lead is ambitious, money driven, fierce, funny. The male lead is structured, controlled, royal. The character development was well curated. Of course, and again, we don't expect anything less. But of course, we've seen big productions with poor work. So when we see good work, we actually should appreciate. And that's what we're doing in this video. So the character development was done carefully, cooked carefully, and the result is amazing. The beautiful thing about K dramas is they don't tell you who these people are, they show you immediately. And there was only one movie where they actually had to tell before we saw The Devil Judge. They told us how she was ruthless. And do you know that by the end of that particular drama, I could testify that she was ruthless. She was nothing short of the definition. Number 4, directing and humor. Obviously, the director understands tone because you could see the effortless humor, the camera placements, intentional and not too obvious, very seamless. It looked seamless at least. But of course, we know that a lot of work went into the behind the scenes. And the way he introduced the characters, it was beautiful. We could see these days because I study movies, series, dramas. So usually I think about those behind the scenes. I had that every director is trying to tell his own story or her own story, but when I first heard it, I didn't understand it, but now I see it more and more and more clearly. Sometimes it seems you can even read the director or what kind of person he or she is just by watching the movie. Of course, the movie is telling a different story that may or may not have been written by the director, but you could still see their signature if you're so observant. So I love the intentionality of the director and how seamless he even made theatrics look. Number 5 is one that everybody that is intentional or anybody that is observant that is watching Perfect Crown would notice: sound and OST. Oh my goodness. The OST is beautiful. Like the songs are nice, perfect for each scene. The sound design did amazing jobs and it's so obvious. It's glaring, not in a way that is disturbing or puts people off, but in a way that they actually notice sound for the first time. I don't know if you people know, but when you're shooting horror movies, you really need a very competent sound design team because most of the things that scare you or jilt you off are the sounds. Maybe usually there's silence and then all of a sudden, whoo, of course you're gonna get startled. That is their job. But to perfect this craft, this is not what everybody can do. It's actually one of the hardest jobs. In this particular drama, it's evident how good they are at their job. Also, when you're telling comedy, the sound is also important. If you don't do a great job with sound in horror, it could turn out to be funny when it's supposed to be scary. Also, if you use the wrong sound when you're doing comedy, it could turn into thriller. So, sound is really important, and I love the team chosen for this drama because each humor landed properly and they also offered great emotional support through the OST. Still, I kept asking myself, what is that one thing that makes me want to keep watching? Because if not for the self control I've built over time when it comes to movies, right now I wouldn't know what to do with myself because I enjoy this so much that I really want to continue it, but I can't do that. So I asked myself what it was that made me want to continue watching. And I think it's the relationship dynamic picked by the writer. Chaotic female lead, controlled male lead, tension equal to chemistry. So we just want to see how it goes. We're rooting for them and we want them together. So maybe it's the relationship dynamic or maybe not. You know what? I have still not discovered what it is exactly that keeps pulling me into every great K drama. Or maybe that's the point. The best stories don't just make sense, they make you feel something you can't explain. If you want me to break down more films like this, subscribe.